Hello and welcome to Pop Snitch Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel.
I'm Brandon.
Wow.
I accidentally muted myself as I was beginning to introduce myself.
Nailed that. You literally dropped the mic or something. I don't know what happened. Oh, did you just touch the mute button?
Well, I was just checking to make sure that all of our settings were correct because there have been times where we've started these and we get pretty far in and then we have to start over again. So I was trying to keep us from that.
You were also yelling at me because I drank a Diet Coke and I can't control the fact that it makes me burp. And I was trying to get them all out before we started. And you were acting like you were going to vom.
Well, I'm trying to protect our listeners from your bodily functions.
Well, I don't want to burp at them either. I love a Diet Coke in the afternoon. Sue me.
All right. I'll live with it.
Before we get into, we're going to cover the latest episode of The Valley as well as Mormon Wives, just kind of give an overview and talk about the Nick Viall reunion, which there's one. I just find him so annoying, but I've said that a million times. Prior to that, I have to say, I've been trying to be more active on TikTok because I do want to make money and it seems like a viable way. So I posted some stuff, like we don't have children, and I posted some stuff about being child free. And it actually had like a really sweet response. And a lot of women in their 30s were like, oh no, I feel the same way and blah, blah, blah. And I loved that. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a cute little community. Well, I just like kind of post a couple times a day. I'm not trying too hard. I'm just like seeing where it goes. And I posted the day after July 4th, I think, because our dog is absolutely petrified of fireworks. He thinks he's being invaded. That night, the fireworks here in New York City were literally the loudest, most aggressive I've ever heard. And it wasn't the ones that they do like for Macy's or whatever that bothered him. It was the people who had them at the basketball court down the block. I mean, when we went by there the day after, it looked like there was like a campfire because there was so much debris like in the middle, and they were so loud, and they were loud because they were right by our building. So anyway, he's like losing his mind, crying. I mean, scratching at doors, trying to jump on and I was just like, oh my God. And they're like, just give your dog a pill. You don't think we thought about that? You don't think we tried? You think we just let him raw dog these fireworks when we know that they're not going to work? No. So anyway, I just post this thing where I'm like, why are we still doing this? Can we do like LED in the sky? Like, do we need the loud boom? Do we need the debris? Is there another way? And people lost their minds.
Well, little did we know that people's patriotism is somehow tied to fireworks, a Chinese import that I just really don't understand what people's deal with this is.
Well, I don't even mind. Like, they're like, it's one day of the year. Get over it. First of all, no, it's not. Tell me why I'm celebrating June 27th. Tell me why I know I'll be celebrating July 13th. Okay. They keep going. It's not just one night. So enough of that. And it would be different if they were professional and they happened from like 9:30 to midnight. Sure.
They're like,
they
you
went
childless
until 5
hooker,
a.m.
you hate America.
Literally. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know why you need to set off fireworks until 5 a.m. That is crazy. And I just could not, the stuff that they put in there was bonkers. Someone put, why do we need to cater to minorities? And the people that I mentioned in the post were like army vets and dogs. And I was like,
the worst people on earth are in these comments.
But my favorite, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you've been on there interacting with these people, which
I
do not
I'm like,
encourage.
Thank you for boosting the algorithm, baby.
You want to talk to them. You're owning them in the comments, all of this.
Listen, make my day. Let me fight with you online.
Well, and I know, but it awakes some sort of primal male rage inside of me that these people are talking to you this way. And then you're just reading me the comments. So I'm sitting on the couch just like fuming. And you're just like, hilarious. And I'm just like, I really hate this. And you're just like, well, it's helping the algorithm.
It doesn't bother me at all. I think it's actually like really funny. I just keep saying things like, you know, the comments they're posting are erratic and crazy. Like most of them are incredibly misspelled. It's stuff like just someone in all caps, I won't cater to your needs. And I'm like, are you okay? Like no one asked you to do anything.
It's so sad that the same people who are in your comments, like calling you like ridiculous names and saying that you should die are without a doubt the same people who were like, I just love God and we got to get him back into the halls of Congress.
God and country. Yeah, for sure. They're probably like people I grew up with their like burner account. But yeah, I was just getting tickled, and I would just say stuff like, if your comment seems illiterate, I'm going to say that. Or I'm going to say, it seems like you may have been at the bottom of the reading circles in first grade.
Yeah, you said you were in the low reading circle. That was too much. I think that I worry for that person's mental health who read that later on.
Well, here's the thing. It is true. Okay. I don't understand people who go on other people's posts to complain. When I see a post I don't like, I scroll or I say, not interested. I absolutely never engage with it because I'm not a dummy. And I know, one, I'm not going to change this person's mind with a comment. Two, it's just going to boost that to more people. And I'm going to see more things that irritate me. These people don't. And my favorite part was these little idiots being like, I'm tired of seeing this in my algorithm. And I finally commented and was like, do you know how an algorithm works? Like, you're tired of seeing it. You keep engaging with it.
Another funny one was a woman who had dirty feet in her picture, and she came for your head, and you were like, go wash your feet and then we can talk, or something like that.
And
I'm
changed her profile picture.
I'm like, oh, and like literally
she posted her dirty ass feet sitting up in a hammock.
I understand that, but there's some part of empathy within me who is like, this person does not have the IQ to deal with what you're gonna throw.
Then get
back
out of my
them.
comment section, baby. Hop on out.
This is what I'm saying. I
didn't
worried.
ask for them to comment. And that's my thing. Like, I'm never going to go comment on someone else's post like, you're ugly, or your feet are dirty, or you probably can't read. But
if you come into my comment section, you're saying
into my house, the gloves are off. Like, what are you going to say about me? Oh, no. You're ugly.
I wanted to talk about something else as well, which I've started doing this, and I don't know if you've noticed, but on our Instagram stories, like, you'll say something, but I won't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And what I've been doing is going back, and the blue text I see is coming from me, and the pink text I see coming from you. So that way the snitchers at home can figure out who's who and who's saying what. Because like, you had a Janet hate post, then I had to come back behind you and be like,
first of all, I didn't have a Janet hate post.
I'm praying for her and her family as she escapes the U.S.
My post was not a hate post. I said, I don't like Janet, but this is bonkers. Here's the thing about people that really is nuts. They're having to do this on Love Island too. Like, they're having to post a warning to tell everyone, like, please stop posting hateful things on these people's profiles. And I'm like, it's one thing to, like, on your page be like, I don't like X, Y, and Z on this show because X, Y, and Z. It is an entirely different thing to tag those people in the mean things you're saying, or worse, go to their page where their friends are just posting like pictures and videos of them in the villa and say the most vile, out-of-pocket things on planet Earth. Like, these people doing that are mentally ill.
Well, we have the thing. This is the last thing we'll say about Love Island because we've got a lot to cover today. But I will say this. I wonder how many of those people hired social media managers, and how many of those people, it's just like their family and friends controlling their...
It seems like all of them are exclusively like family and friends, or they, like, Amaya didn't have anybody. I don't think Jeremiah had anyone. Before he went into the villa, he had 44 followers on TikTok, and he has over 1 million now.
Oh, word.
But Sierra has her friends doing it, and now they're like embroiled in the scandal with that. And then Amaya didn't have anybody doing hers. I don't think Austin had anyone doing his, or JT.
Well, here's the thing. You know, we've got the Golden Bachelor, which, I mean, the whole franchise might be dead. But man, talk about some unhinged things, like late 40s people out there sunburnt, trying to find dates and stuff. I mean, that would be pure gold television. Like, every body shape is welcome. Literally just put the average folks out there in the heat in Fiji. I would eat that up.
I'm confused how this relates to The Bachelor. Do you mean like...
Well, The Golden Bachelor, it's like they tried a different kind of subsection of the population.
You're saying, I see. See, I don't want to see that. I've seen enough. I don't want to see that.
What do you mean you don't want to see more Golden Bachelor, or you don't want to see just like normal people in the villa?
No, I'm fine seeing normal people in the villa. I don't need to see people in their 40s like bodying a Coors Light and...
Oh, yeah. I need like a bunch of Tom Schwartzes out there trying to find love.
See, no. I like watching the youths get out there and shoot their shot and whatever. Love Island is supposed to be fun. And this season, it's not fun.
Love Island's supposed to be fun? Is that what you're saying? You're saying this season isn't fun?
Summer should be fun. This summer, not fun.
Not fun. Thank you,
It
Kyle
is.
Cook.
It's stressful. It makes me, like, I feel like I need a Xanax after every episode because I'm like, wait, what? I will say the one on Friday was pretty tame, finally. But yeah, no. And honestly, the people, I did a post on our Pop Snitch account on TikTok about how Huda is the villain of the villa. But when I'm saying villain, I just mean that she takes up all the space and air in the villa with, like, everybody is held hostage by her moods, essentially, which is true. And it's not like she can't change that. I'm not like she's ugly, she's stupid. It's not that. It's just like she has to grow up. It's exhausting to watch. And her fans get into my comments and they're like, some guy was like, I need to explain to you the etymology of the word rat. And I was like, no, you don't. He's like, you're calling everybody. There's like a TikTok nickname that takes Huda and changes it to Hood and apparently adds rat to the end. And that's what people are calling her friends or her followers or whatever. I have not called them that, nor did anybody post about that on that page. These people are just flopping in here. And it feels like bots, honestly, because like it's nonsensical. It is not connected to any other comment and it's just flooding. So I don't know what it is, but it's driving me insane. If you post anything with her name in it, people just get in there and start saying the same things over and over. And I'm like, why do I have bots defending Huda in my comments? This is so annoying.
And also, like, people talking about these people on the show is part of it. And it's what makes the shows popular. And it's what makes the shows interesting to watch for people. And, like, as long as people aren't, like, going after the way people look or, you know, like there are some things that just steps over the line for sure. But I think like this is part of the game. It's why people do this. It's like being on a sports team. You know you're going to get some hate because you are the quarterback. Like Tom Brady had death threats and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, that's not okay. But I'm just saying like if some of it comes with the territory of like putting yourself out there.
Yeah. I mean, their haters are going to make them money. And that's, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing I was thinking about with the algorithm. I'm like, get in there, get mad. I don't care.
Get in there, hate my dog, hate my fireworks.
Tell me I'm elitist because I don't like fireworks.
You hate America. You hate America because you don't like fireworks.
What is happening? It just, I don't know. I just forget that the average reading level in America is 7th grade, and these people did not get there. They're what's bringing us down.
The low circle, as you called it.
The low reading circle, and they knew who they were. So I'm just like letting it rock. I still think it's funny. And it's always like people who have 2 followers, no picture or a terrifying picture. And they want to get on there and it's like user 1804, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you okay? Like, I get that this is your burner account, but go away.
All right, let's jump right into the Valley then.
Okay. Oh, you want to do the Valley before Mormon Wives?
I think so.
Okay. So the Valley, as you all know, it's a spinoff of VPR, which is my all-time favorite show on Bravo. And Kristen Doty got kicked off the show following the 2020. It was during 2020, but it was not something she had done that year. It was like when she and Stassi had like called the cops on Faith because they were mad at her because Faith slept with Brittany, Jax's wife. Since then, Doty has worked on herself.
Slept with Brittany?
Faith? Yeah. Oh, slept with Jax. Sorry.
I was about to say Faith and Brittany.
No. Kristen
we got breaking news. Breaking news, snitchers.
Kristen and Brittany have hooked up, but Anyway, that's neither here nor there. My point is that we watched Kristen Doty grow up in real time. She was kind of a mess, like those first few seasons of Vanderpump. She's like smoking cigarettes. Her pupils are very dilated. She's not regulated. She's showing up at events that she's been explicitly uninvited to all the time. She's lying. And then she gets on the Valley. And she is the voice of moral reason.
I don't understand it, but hey, amen.
Yeah, there are things about her that haven't changed. Like, if you talk about her, she is a loyal friend. And if you talk about her or one of her friends, she's like, I'll spread a rumor about you. I don't care. But then she'll cop to it. And so much of the season has been about a dumb rumor that was so stupid. And it's why she and Janet are still at odds when they're all in Hawaii. So the cast trip is in Hawaii. And the whole thing is for Kristen's boyfriend to propose to her. Mm-hmm. And again, we watch Kristen be in toxic relationships for a decade. And now she has found a man that is obsessed with her, who is like a man's man, who treats her in like, if you know anything about Kristen Doty from VPR, you know she does not travel well.
No, and that is the biggest thing for me, is that this shows that Luke and her will last, because every single other relationship she's been in, including friendships, if she travels, if she leaves LA, she completely crashes out in a way that, I mean, literally falling on herself, so drunk she can't move, sleeping all day,
anxiety,
just absolute insanity, being late to the airport. I mean, just like every single time, it's a huge disaster, to the point where she was not being invited to on trips. And people were having to explain to her, like, you've literally ruined every trip we've ever taken because of this. And the truth of the matter is that Kristen, in this moment, actually endures some pretty messed up stuff on this particular Valley trip. Her fiance Luke,
or her boyfriend,
her boyfriend is crashing out, so much so that they only show like a few seconds of it. He's in bed, like covered under the covers, and he's like, I just need you to love me.
And she's like, okay. Yeah. She is so calm. She's so collected. She's telling everyone, like, listen, his grandma's not doing well. She's got so much empathy. And she lets him crash out. And she even, like, when they pull her to the side, she's like, yeah, I used to freak out all the time. It's okay. He never does this. It's fine. Like, she's totally fine.
Yes. And he gets like, hammered drunk and is walking around the hotel in his underwear.
Yeah.
And she's just like, Luke, you're in your underwear.
Luke, you want to come back? Are you okay? And
I'm like, oh my gosh, how sweet.
I'm obsessed with her. So I love her so much. And being able to see the Valley, everyone has said this a million times, it's been so dark this season. Like, I'm done with Jax Taylor. I will be fine if I never see him on my screen again. He disgusts me. Jesse Lally, go away. Bye. He's another little bitch baby. And I just like these men and their weird gurus I could do without. But Kristen Doty getting engaged in Hawaii on a boat, give it to me every day. I mean, I want it into my veins. I've never related to someone more than when they're trying to get ready and she thinks she's going fishing and she's like, well, I'm not going to take a shower.
Oh, my word. And this happened to us. You didn't realize that. So, okay. So what happens in the show is that Luke is about to take her out on this like really nice, like boating trip, at the end of which it's going to be a sunset, proposal. In Hawaii. Beautiful. He knows that Danny and Nia are there to take pictures, all this stuff. And he's like, you know, I've made all of these plans. I've meticulously done this. And he
kept it a secret from Detective Doty, who figures out everything.
And so right before they're about to take off, he's like, well, maybe you want to go ahead and go get a shower. She's like, I'm not going to shower. We're just going out to do some fishing. I don't get fish stuff all over me. I don't care. It's like, I'll just go. I mean, she literally looks like she crawled out of bed after a long night, which she's did.
Got shorts and a tank top on. Her hair's like a rat's nest. And she's like, yeah, no, I don't really, we're just going fishing. And you can see his face, he's like, I do not know what to do. And see Zach go.
And he said with all of the preparation and all of the stuff that I've done to do this trip, what I didn't think would end up on the bingo card was, Kristen not wanting to take a shower.
She was so annoyed that she had to take a shower. Nia had to come in beside her and be like, I'm going to do my makeup. You know what? Why don't you take a quick shower? Why don't you just do it right now?
Yeah.
And like guide her through the process.
Exactly. And so this exact same thing happened with our proposal because I had been telling Rachel for a couple of weeks that I wanted a tradition of ours to be that we went and had our pictures taken with Santa every Christmas.
I think we eventually thought at that point we might have children. I guess if we did it as adults without kids, it would be so weird.
But I even thought that would be funny. Like, just to have like totally. All of those throughout the year. So I'm like, hey, so we just need to start the tradition this year because, it was pretty clear that we were going to be together and move to California and stuff, but we still needed to, get engaged. And I'd worked on it, and I actually had another plan, which was nowhere near as good, which was just going up to like Paris Mountain and asking you to marry me.
Which would be hilarious. You've never hiked a mountain in your life except for the one time you ate a tuna mountain.
I wasn't gonna. Whoa! I wasn't gonna hike it.
I was like, what do you mean we're gonna?
There. We were gonna drive up there, and I was gonna do it.
You are an inside boy.
She was so mean to me on Thanksgiving, which is when I was gonna do it, that I was like, nope, not gonna do it.
Sorry, I wanted you to watch Harry Potter with me.
I didn't tell her. Because that's it. I'm trying to invite her to go and get engaged. And she's like, I just don't understand why you don't want to come over to my house and watch Harry Potter. I'm tired. And I'm like, all right, I'm not coming over. So I waited a good bit after that.
You waited 3 weeks.
Several weeks. I don't know.
Maybe not even that.
I don't know people who are delaying their engagement.
You waited exactly 2 weeks.
Well, anyway. So now I've come up with the idea for the Santa thing. So I go to her house and I've told her, like, be ready. We're going to go straight there before we go to this party. She's like, okay, I get there. Her hair is a mess.
I've been sleeping.
She's wearing something. I'm like, can you put on something like Christmassy or like comb your hair? and she's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, we're about to go have pictures taken and you look a mess.
I didn't have on any makeup. It was a casual Friday at work when I was working at 10 Best and I didn't have on makeup. I think I had on like a big hoodie and jeans. And I had been sleeping with my hair in a ponytail and my hair was short. So it was just like sticking straight back. And you were like appalled. And you started to get very panicked about time. And I'm like, it's fine. Like I can just pull my hair back. And you're like, no, you don't want that for the picture. This is going to be the first of many pictures. Like we don't want it to look bad. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. And I know I had to dress up. And so, yeah, but it did take you coaxing me for like a solid 10 minutes. I was very annoyed. I remember being like, I don't even want to go to that party.
Well, I've realized that we've completely skipped what actually our proposal was. Most people have no idea what we're talking about.
No, you said you proposed to me. Okay.
Yeah, I proposed to Rachel on Santa's lap in the middle of the huge mall with hundreds of people looking down on us.
And clapping.
And clapping. So that was what we were leading to, but
and I think it sounds weird if you say mall and people don't understand how malls used to be like so decorated for Christmas and a lot of people went there.
Oh yeah, and like there was this particular mall was a double decker, and so people were all around the top of this like atrium, looking down on us getting engaged on Santa's
And they took
lap.
our pictures, and my eyes and Santa's eyes were bugged out exactly the same way. I had absolutely no idea.
We'll put the picture in the show so that people can see it. It'll be right here.
And you'll see how I did not look great, but let me tell you, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, so same thing with Doty, where he finally gets her to take a shower. Nia gets her to take a shower. And then as they get on the boat, Nia's like, hey, let's take some pictures. And Kristen's like, I don't really feel like taking pictures. And like, again, relatable queen. I would be the same way. But the funniest part to me, I keep burping, I'm so sorry. The funniest part to me is that she is, which you could relate to, she's very frustrated that they're out in the ocean while she's trying to do her NFL draft.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like sitting on top of Luke's bag that has the ring in it, unbeknownst to her. And she's on her phone trying to dial in to get the last of her draft picked. And the sun is about to set. And Luke begins to panic. And he's like, Nia, you got to get her out of there. And Nia's like, listen, if I start pushing her, she's Detective Doty. She will know immediately that something's up. And he's like, okay, well, we got to get her out of there. And so she went back in and she was like, can you just take a picture of me and Danny, which was so smart. And Kristen's like, yeah, okay. And so she puts on some lip gloss, goes out there. Luke is able to get in there and get the ring, but then they still can't get her to turn around. And so Luke's like, you have to tell her that you see dolphins. And they're like pointing like, no, over there. And she's like, over there? And then she turns around. And the funniest thing, I'm trying to remember the exact line that he said. Something like, will you be my greatest catch?
He said, he was like, we've had many adventures together or something. He kept saying that over and over, but she wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, he kept trying to begin it and she still wouldn't turn around because she was fixated on where dolphins might be. And so he finally, when she does turn around, he says something to the effect, it's so corny, like, will you be my life's greatest catch? And she just starts screaming WTF and laughing. And it's so cute. It's so honest. It's the first time we've seen Kristen surprised, maybe ever, on TV.
Doty, we love you. Like, literally, we're so happy for you and Luke and the baby and everything. Like, I don't think I've ever been more happy for someone on TV than I am for Kristen Doty.
Genuinely, I wish her and her family only the best. I'm so happy. And this is before she even gets pregnant. So, like, we know she just had her baby. We know that everything, I think she's like 41 maybe, that like every single thing worked out, even though it wasn't on a timeline. And that's one for the girlies to remember. You can have your own timeline. And it worked out so much better than her being with any of the losers she had been with before. I did think that it was like not great how Brittany acted. I felt like she was kind of out of pocket for being mean to Zach.
First of all, she always is out of pocket. And second of all, I mean, I have to speak against my girl Janet. Because this whole thing of not showing up for the after party because they're having like little beef or whatever and trying to make it like, well, if I don't show up, that she'll actually like that better because we're in a fight. I'm like, I would much rather go to the party and have her be upset that I'm there than come to the party and be upset because I'm not there.
Yeah.
You know, because you can always leave and you can always feel a vibe out, but she will never forgive Janet for not being there that night.
Yeah.
So that relationship is just severed in my mind.
Yeah. No, I think it's over. Janet was just being a baby she's one of those people who is able to make everything about her. And she was able to do that in this episode. She does she was trying to some degree, I understand not wanting to be involved in like a big moment for someone that doesn't like you. But then to be like the whole next day I'm going to leave too. It was all just to like make a statement.
But also like they maybe they're in a fight, but they like go, even they had that huge fight at the Mexican restaurant. They were at the Mexican restaurant together. They were doing things
together. I don't think they would hang out. I don't think they would hang out anymore if they didn't film together, to be honest.
Well, and it's also important for Janet to remember that I believe that it's Kristen who brought her into the group, is it not?
It is. Kristen and Sheena.
So this whole thing, Janet needs to chill, even though I like Janet.
Which is the worst thing about you.
I'm sorry. I'm toxic.
All right. So proud of Doty, happy for her and Luke. We're going to move on to the secret lives of Mormon wives. Okay. And this is where I feel like you and I are uniquely qualified to talk about this, having grown up in a pretty strict religious environment. It's very interesting to watch these girls. They are telling the viewers that they are trying to kind of bring Mormonism into the modern age. They are trying to help the girls. Is that what you are getting from their attempts? Yeah,
I would say like just to set for those who haven't seen season 1 or season 2, which we just finished season 2 and this was the reunion for season 2, just to give you a little bit of a backstory. We have these like 6, 7, 8 Mormon moms who back in the pandemic or the pandemic times around then started what they call mom talk, like TikTok, but mom talk. And it's all these young at the time, under 30-year-old women who had multiple children living in conservative Utah, members of the Mormon church who did like wholesome dances and stuff like that. And the idea was to modernize people's perception of the Church of Latter-day Saints by doing
they were wearing
things.
Like tank tops, doing cute little dance moves, and people were like, "You're Mormon? I don't get it. I thought you had to wear your garments and blah blah blah."
And they all have the same hair.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like the same spray tan, the same fillers, and like they all kind of look very similar. It's like it's a vibe, and you've seen this vibe, even though you may not know that it comes from this Mormon community, but you've seen this look that people are going for all over the internet. And so the biggest thing with this that actually got them the show is what they call a swinger scandal, when basically all it was like 2 or 3 of the girls and their husbands were doing what is called soft swinging, which is essentially making out with each other's partners at parties while drunk. That is what we've been able to distill it down to. But for an entire season, they made it out like these people were full on like trading partners, swinging,
Well, they were having sex, some of them, according to Taylor, in the same room, but not with different partners.
Well, and I believe that she's changed her tune on that.
She said that at the reunion.
Well, what I thought she was saying is that they had sex, her and that one husband did.
So she cheated on her husband with him, and that was outside of like the agreement that they had all made for this. So that is separate from this.
And it's also important to know that everyone in this group has reason to lie about all of this and to downgrade it and to make it smaller than it actually was because of brand deals and stuff with like wholesome and conservative companies and all of this kind of stuff. The only one of them who I feel like is a true ride or die, doesn't care, will say anything, is Taylor Frankie Paul, who is the quintessential character of the show. And how she got famous and how the girls got famous even more than they were before is she is the one who went on TikTok and Instagram Live and said that there was a swinging scandal. And it made not only the girls who were involved in the swinging scandal look like, pariahs in that community, but also the girls who were not involved in it at all.
Who didn't even know.
Who didn't even know that it was happening. But anybody under the Mom Talk umbrella, which at that point was over 10 couples, were all implicated in this swinging scandal.
And Taylor didn't tell anyone she was going to do it. She was just getting hate because she had like slept with her friend's husband.
And
right?
a lot of this
she had announced they were divorcing.
And a lot of this hate was what I call small time hate that seems big, which would be like if me and Rachel did something in our marriage that wasn't great and all of our friends found out about it and all of our Facebook friends and the like were talking about it openly. It seems like the end of your world. No one beyond your 200 people on Facebook have any clue about it. But the moment that Taylor went on TikTok Live and told the world, it blew up like you would not believe. Millions of people had watched this video.
Yeah.
So that's where we start.
Yeah. So where we start is that Taylor, one of the original swingers, she and her first husband split up. They are divorced. Miranda, who was on season 2, was also part of that. And she and her husband have also divorced. I think they're the only ones. I know Layla and her first husband divorced too, but that was separate. And again,
and I think that had happened prior to.
Yeah. Divorce, having sex before marriage, having kids out of wedlock, all of those things are huge no-nos for Mormon culture, including like drinking coffee or drinking alcohol of any kind. Mind you, these girls do ketamine. Like, it's so funny.
And a lot of the things that we just mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. All of them. And so it's just so interesting, like, seeing them try to justify their choices and asking each other if it's okay.
I mean, it feels like home to me.
It does.
Because this is how we grew up. It's like we were embroiled in a very similar conservative upbringing, especially in the college times. And we knew every single person at that college would have told you that they were a, whatever, Bible believing Christian or whatever. But there was all kinds of spectrum of belief and action that was happening at that time. And people who were like, we're getting married after being together for 6 months and we're going to be together forever. We're going to move to Afghanistan and start a church for the Lord. And they were divorced after a year. Like, this is the kind of stuff that, it just feels like real life to me because this is what I've experienced in my own life,
And so I think when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, sure, I can see how this would be something that would interest people, especially if they didn't grow up with it, how they're like, wait, but how can you think this and do this? I'm like, honey, they do it all the time.
I've done it.
Yeah. So let's walk through the main players. We have Taylor Frankie Paul, who, like we said, broke the news of the scandal. Okay, so after that, so she and her husband have 2 kids at the time. Then, after the scandal, she begins dating another man who has just gotten sober from heroin for like maybe 6 months. Okay. She starts sleeping with him and gets pregnant. Right before she gets pregnant, she gets so drunk one night that they get into a physical altercation. The police are called and she's arrested for domestic abuse.
And the show is put on hiatus for nearly a year.
Yeah. So the first episode is like literally the difference in the beginning of the episode to the end is like 6 months. Like it's they literally did not know if they were going to be able to. So then cut to season 1, Taylor's pregnant with Dakota, this guy's baby. And her parents are so mean to her, like so mean to her. Season 1 and season 2. Season 2, her mom comes in with a new face. So anyway, that's Taylor. Taylor is a truth teller. Even if it's just her truth, she is going to tell what she believes to be true. She's also one of the only girls that doesn't get so much filler. Like her face looks unique. Mm-hmm. She doesn't look like all the other girls. She's had work done. She said she had her boobs done. She's had stuff done. So I whatever. But she has not done the kind of like Instagram face that a lot of them have done.
And it's important to know that somehow in the culture, which do you, but in this culture, you would think that body plastic modification surgery and stuff like that of any kind would be looked down upon. It's not. It's like, it's something with it's the Mormons of like, pursuing what they would like perfection.
Yeah.
And they kind of put it underneath that umbrella of we're trying to pursue perfection, even in the way that we look and the way that we act, everything.
Right. Then you have Whitney, and she is the villain of season 1. She and her husband were mad about Taylor saying that Whitney is a professional dancer. She really enjoyed doing these TikToks because she's good at coming up with dances. And she caught a bunch of heat because when her baby was in the hospital with RSV, she did this like crazy dance to like next to it, looking all happy as she was like explaining what happened. And she got such backlash for that.
I mean, her baby, forgive
is in the
us.
NICU.
But her baby is in the NICU in a tank right beside her, like literally like struggling for breath and going like,
and she's like,
and she's like,
yeah, she's just dancing. and it's like it was a wild thing to do. I feel sorry for her because like when you don't have a lot of sleep and you're just trying to post, like you do stupid things. But that one was wild.
People said to her in the comments is criminal.
Yeah,
criminal.
So telling her she didn't deserve her children, like it was nuts.
Yeah, it was.
So she's
awful.
reeling from that at the beginning of season 1, and she's frustrated. She also left. She and her husband and their family moved to Hawaii for a while to like get away from it. And then during that time, it comes out that there's been a scandal with Connor, that he was on Tinder, even though they're married. And she didn't want to talk about it with the girls, so they moved to Hawaii. And at the beginning of season 1, they have just moved back. And so she is trying to reintegrate with the group after having been gone for like over a year at that point.
And what I will say about that is what a great decision. Like, if something like that happens to you, maybe the best possible thing that you could do is get away from it all.
Yeah.
And like
if you can.
And like spend time alone and try to like figure out your stuff and come back. Like, I think that actually, and you can even see that in season 1. It's like they're coming back, they're setting new boundaries with each other, they're looking towards life, they're in a new house, like all of these things. I'm like, this is good. This is good decision making. Someone gave them good counsel here.
Yeah. So, but she comes back, and Whitney loves drama. She knows how to make a good show. She's actually trying to be an actress now, which makes a lot of sense. But I do think a lot of it was honest for her. And throughout the course of season 1, we see her get pregnant. And then she did the grossest thing imaginable. And that was put the actual pregnancy test into the cake for her family to cut the cake and open. I think she urinated upon. So that was wild. But she's kind of like an outcast in the first season and a villain. She's like constantly bringing things up and whatever. And I enjoyed her, but...
Oh, I love her. But she can make anything about her.
It's true.
And she can literally take something that she has done to you and turn it on you and say, no, it was you.
Made her do it.
You made me do this to you.
Yeah.
You made me treat you horribly and not come to your party. And
it's little things. Like, she didn't go to Taylor's baby shower, and then she didn't go to her best friend's, like, this like business opening for her. And when asked by these women, like, do you regret not going? Like, it really hurt me that you didn't go. She's like, no. It's stuff like that where she's like, of course, why would I regret that? That was the best choice for me at the time. And it's like, you could say, I regret not going because it hurt your feelings. The reason I didn't go was X, Y, and Z. But like, she cannot disentangle that in her brain.
Oh, and I love that.
And she can't apologize for it.
Well, and that's another thing is that, you know, you always hear people say, oh, you're using the word gaslighting too much, or I don't understand what gaslighting is. Just watch Whitney in season 1.
Oh, she's
good. And that is gaslighting.
She's good.
She does it better than anyone I've ever seen with a straight face. I will say,
I think she has the best marriage on the show.
Oh,
and I will die on that hill. And we'll get to Connor in season 2 in just a minute. Then we have Jessie, who does hair. And it's so funny. Her brand is Jay-Z, and it just looks like giant signs that. Anyway, that joke's been made 1,000 times, but it's never not funny to me. So she does their hair, and it's the Mormon hair of like the waves all the way down, very like way too long. But she has a brand. Yeah, and she sells like the hair that you can stick in. I can't think of the name of it. The extensions. And she's a millionaire already just because of like all the salons and stuff that she has. So she's coming on the show to like share her life. She's on her second marriage. She divorced her previous husband. She's with a new guy. And she's best friends with Demi, who is 16, I think, years younger than her husband. Come to find out, her husband was on Claire Crawley's season of The Bachelor, which I did not realize. He was also on something else.
What was Demi in grade school at the time?
Basically. They got married, I want to say like a few months, or got together right after she got divorced from her first husband. And I mean, that's fine, but like, they have an interesting dynamic. I've heard that his family is like involved in the entertainment industry. In season 1, she really did come off like a voice of reason. She came off like someone who was very poised and knew what they were doing. And I think season 2, we saw the cracks in that.
Well, because I think that the reason I was riding for her in the first season was because of that like Christian culture or, you know, Mormon culture, no one wants to call stuff out when it happens.
Yeah.
They want to beat around the bush. They want to gossip about it. They don't want to say what's what. And in several key moments throughout the series, she was the one who was willing to say like, no, this is wrong. Whitney, you're acting like a biatch. You know, Taylor is doing this, blah, blah, blah. And no one else was willing to.
That's true.
She wasn't necessarily picking sides. She was just calling a spade a spade. And I think in that situation, it endeared her to us as the audience. But this season, things really took a spill.
Right. So again, season 1, Taylor and Whitney are at odds. Whitney clearly wants to be queen bee, but Taylor just inevitably is. And Whitney's mad that Taylor outed and made it look like they were all swinging. And then you have Jessie and Demi. They're best friends. Jessie does the hair. Demi is married to a much older man. And then you also have the other set of friends is Michaela and Macy. So Michaela is one of the younger ones. And she had her first baby at 16 with her now husband, who was, I think, 20 at the time, which question mark. And she has like a debilitating chronic illness that causes her to have issues with her skin and things that she has shown her journey online.
Mm-hmm.
She has children. Obviously, it's mom talk. And then her bestie is Macy. And Macy got pregnant at BYU in college. And her first child's father got killed in a car accident before she even gave birth. So that was
it's important to know she was
traumatizing.
kicked out of school because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then her husband dies. Or her,
or her
was
boyfriend.
her husband, boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah.
And
so anyway, she's married to someone else. She has children with him now. She's the one who had a business called Baby Mama and asked for Whitney to come, and she didn't show up to support her. So during season 1, Taylor's pregnant. Whitney's pregnant. I'm trying to think if anybody else is. Season 1. No.
Very important to know, everyone is always pregnant.
You really can't keep track of who's doing what.
And people get pregnant in the off season.
Yeah.
And so they come back and they're pregnant. It's like, is that the same baby or a different baby? And it's always a different baby.
Right. And then we have Layla, who is the only person of color in the lineup. And her story is more about like what it was like being a Black woman in Mormon culture and how she married a white man. They had babies together. It was a nightmare. She divorced him. I think she's 22 when season 1 starts. She's 22. She has 2 kids and she's divorced, which is the story of a lot of them that, it just goes poorly. So she's trying to figure out what it is for like most of season 2 to enjoy sex and have the big O, and is talking about how she's been having sex since she was like 17 or 18, but has never experienced that, which, wow. I'm glad that she's working on it. Godspeed. And then you have one of my favorites, Ben Affleck, and her weird, I think a blonde man. It's odd, right? Her and her very blonde white husband. Jen is Hispanic. Her mother cleans for the hospital where her husband's father is a surgeon. So you really see these dynamics and like race and socioeconomic status play out in their family. His last name's Affleck, so she's Jen Affleck. So the whole joke is that like they're all related to Ben Affleck, but during the first season she says it like it's true, and it becomes this whole, it's like memeable. But Jen's story is that her husband is applying for med school and she is supporting them financially. She's also one of the like very through and through Mormons. Like she wears her garments, she doesn't curse, she like, whatever. But her husband in season 1 is an absolute monster. I think the difference in season 1 to season 2 with him is that he got PR trained. Like that to me is incredibly clear, and they quit halfway through the season. So it's crazy.
It's important to know that the big offense that almost ended their marriage is that when the girls all went to Vegas, they went to Chippendales. And him hearing that they went to Chippendales was enough where he was like, I may divorce you because you went to not even a strip club, like, because they don't get all the way naked. Like, it was like, called her a whore, called her some pretty vile things just because she went to a Chippendales with her girlfriends.
And like, he was there. He was in Vegas gambling. Right. It's not like she was hours away from him. They were gonna be in the hotel together.
Also important to note that he has a gambling addiction and had like gambled away a bunch of their money on DraftKings.
Right.
And so not too many legs to stand on.
Yeah. And she was essentially the breadwinner because she was getting all of these brand deals from Mom Talk. So she was making money, and you could see that eating away at him and his family that has this legacy of them all being doctors in this hospital.
Right.
So I love Jen. In the second season, she and Zach are essentially separated. He went to medical school in Arizona, so he's got a place there. She moved back to Utah with their kids. And in basically the first episode, you see them kind of reunite, and she finds out she's pregnant. And she's not super thrilled about it at the beginning because she has prenatal depression.
Well, and her marriage is kind of in a very shaky spot.
And she's got small children. She's like, 26? And she's got 3 kids. So she's just like, I kind of had it. And halfway through the season, she just drops out. But what we need to get to is season 2. So that's just kind of like a layout of the girls. Maybe we can do pictures next to the ones like as they come up on the video.
one thing that I think is important to note is that I may be wrong about this. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
But I think they do a fairly good job on this show of protecting the children.
Yes.
At least so far, because they have not been a fixture of the show, and they don't really show the kids much, if at all.
They show
unless
them
they're
some,
like
but it's
holding
limited.
them.
Yeah.
And there's no storylines with the kids as of yet. And
that's a good point.
And I would say I hope they keep with that, because I don't think the show needs it, and it will destroy those children.
Yes. No, I agree.
I'm just going to go out and just put that out there for me.
I will say this. I think anybody who does family vlogging and forces their kids to do that is child labor and should be illegal. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
I think it's awful.
She came out with her full chest and said,
"Oh, I will say it with my whole chest to anybody right to their face. 10 toes down."
Sorry,
Absolutely.
people we went to college with who have your kids on Instagram.
Don't care. Bad. You should go to jail. Anyway, the big controversy at the beginning of season 2 is that these girls have gotten asked to go. It's a Hulu show, right? And Lisa Vanderpump has a show called Vanderpump Villa, also on Hulu. So Vanderpump Villa in Italy invites the Mormon wives to come to the villa and have kind of like a crossover episode. So they go. One of the guys who works at the villa for Lisa Vanderpump, his name is Marciano, and he's a huge flirt, like whatever. And the controversy...
The kind of guy that Lisa defends and hires and keeps around forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he and Demi allegedly have like a very flirtatious time there, and there's speculation that more happened than just flirting.
Emotional affair, at least.
Yeah, at the very least. And Jen basically tells her, like, I'm not going to lie if people ask me what you did. Like, you can say that it's not outside the boundary of your marriage, but I'm not going to pretend like it didn't happen. And then Demi is calling her, and she's recording it, and saying, like, well, here's what you say if someone asks you about it. And then Marciano at the very end of the season basically comes out and is like, yeah, Demi and I, we did a lot of flirting, and here are our messages on Instagram. And it's like wild what they are saying to each other. It's very
stuff
sexual.
I don't feel comfortable. I'm
not going to repeat it here, but like it's pretty explicit. And then at the end of the season, he goes, but I didn't sleep with her. I slept with Jessie, who is Jess is her best friend. Yeah. So that's where we are left on the season. And when asked explicitly on the reunion, she says she cannot talk about that because they're filming season 3. And this is my biggest gripe now that we're to the reunion. My 2 biggest gripes about the Mormon Wives reunion. 1,
hit us.
Nick Viall. Get out of here. I don't want to see you.
Terrible.
You're not a mom.
Marble mouth.
Trying to listen to him attempt to get something out without going, I can't. I mean, here's the thing. He just doesn't have charisma.
Be like, they're going to rewrite history with this. This is going to be like Joe Biden when they came out and said that he had a stutter after years and years of him like misspeaking. They're going to come out and be like, make us look bad by being like, he has like a speech impediment that he's dealt with his entire life.
That's fine. Then this isn't your job, you know? Like, I'm 5'3", so I'm
Hire
not playing
Rachel.
pro basketball.
Hire Rachel to do it.
Yeah, I can speak without stuttering. I can't stand hearing, and he does it. Not only is he lacking in charisma, but he also manages to be extremely condescending. So everything he says is like with a cheeky little smirk or like a dad intonation to these women who are 20 years younger than him that I don't know. Everything about it felt very uncomfortable to me. I did not like him.
And I never liked... This is the thing that I don't know. You know me. I'm a Chris Harrison apologist.
Oh God, I know.
And not because of any of the things that he said.
No, I know. Just because he was a good host.
But just because I liked him. And he had enough distance in age between him and the people who were on The Bachelor that when he tried to be dad-like or tried to offer some sort of sage wisdom, it felt like the right distance from...
See, I fear you think that Chris Harrison was older than he was. I think he was about Nick's age when he was doing this.
But he seemed older.
I don't know that older is the right word. He seemed more mature.
And distinguished.
Yeah, like less, like he, I don't really know how to explain. He wasn't condescending.
But like when Nick says, "I'm so proud of you, girls, for this and that," I'm like, "Ugh,
no,
I'm getting
immediate
sick.
Barf. Go away." Go away. So I'm mad about that. And I'm also mad that they did it during season 3 filming. So they can't legally tell us what's going on. That was really stupid. And
it was a cash grab from Hulu. And I'm just like, either do it in time with the filming, like every other show does.
Right.
Or, it just doesn't make any sense.
Call Andy Cohen. You want to know how to do a reunion? Call him.
Literally.
Like, you do it before the full season is out. Come on. Wake up.
Move the show to Bravo.
Yeah, I was so annoyed by that. Nothing really came out of the reunion in my mind. There were two things.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I love it when men interrupt me. Keep going.
Well, my problem with the nothing happening, I think it's another product of the culture. These girls are trying to protect themselves and protect their relationships and protect everything from the show and not sharing all of the bits of information that we're getting. And we're waiting for producers to expose things when the shows come out. So the idea of a reunion doesn't really work with the show. I don't think it needed one, honestly.
I don't think so either. And I think that the controversy, well, to me, it should be said, was the villain of season 2, and she didn't even show up to it. She did some sort of like extra recording with Nick that was neither helpful nor interesting, where she just came off worse. She also, it came out when they were negotiating for salaries and stuff, tried to get her best friend kicked off the show so she could make more money. She told everybody she was trying to create a storyline where she was going to pretend like she and Dakota were having an affair because she didn't have anything interesting going on. And that's where Mormon Wives loses me a little, is that a lot of it is starting to feel very self-produced. The only ones that don't feel that way to me are Whitney and Taylor. And I think Jen, I think it was good that she bowed out while her mental health was bad. But to me, I'll just never trust anything she says again. And
no.
I'm losing interest in the whole thing because it's so clear that so many of them don't actually like each other or hang out. And this happens in a lot of reality shows.
The snark of it all. Okay, so another critique of Nick is that he is snarky, and he has been snarky with these women, and he said things about these women not unlike what we're saying about them here today.
But we're not hosting.
But we're not hosting, and also, like, if you're gonna host, be yourself and bring some of that snark into it. Don't act like you're all their daddy.
Yeah.
And trying to act like you're, above it all and everything. When I will say one of the funniest videos from his show ever is he was like, "I'm having a bad day today. Can you pull up that RSV video of Whitney dancing beside her child?" Like, he's snarky. He's horrible on that show. And even Andy, Andy is himself all the time. Like, who he is on Watch What's Happened is the energy that he brings into anything that he does for the network.
The reunions,
and that's what I love. But Nick was trying to be somebody different. Even the way he was sitting in the chair, just like trying to ingratiate himself. And I'm just
He's like, I've been practicing my posture.
I hate it.
Yeah. The only things that came out that were of note were that Jen and Whitney are going to be on Dancing with the Stars, which I'm genuinely so excited for them. I may actually watch this season of Dancing with the Stars because of them. So I'm excited for that. And then Connor came on and disclosed that he was assaulted sexually as a child, and that it created a need for sexual attention. He was able to, and gave context to the Tinder scandal. Yeah.
And I think
validation.
And it's important to note that people came out against him in a big way after the first season, saying things like they were in a lavender marriage and saying things about him that it wasn't Tinder, that it was Grindr, all of this out of pocket stuff. And that has all come out to be untrue. Right. And a lot of those rumors and just the way it was all handled was them trying to protect him from exposing all of this information about his private life. And so,
but he chose to
come forward with it, which I think is big of him.
Well, and I think men who experience that women are already very unlikely to talk about it, but because it's more common among women, I think it can feel a little easier talking about that as a man and explaining how it links to habits or issues in your adulthood is so important because a lot of men experience it too. And I thought it was very brave of him. I thought it was honest. It gave such context for Whitney and their marriage. And I will stand on the fact that I do think they have the strongest marriage of all of them. I think that he adores her. And I think I really respect both of them. They leaned into the rumors about the lavender marriage. Like they do TikToks about it and like make jokes of it.
I think that's the way you've got to do it. You've just got to
I like him. I feel like protect this man at all costs. Like I feel like he can lean into funny things and kind of like be tongue in cheek. And then also go on the show and be incredibly vulnerable and honest and raw. And it is really, really hard for people to be able to do both of those things. So he has all the respect in the world from me.
Yeah, knowing that people like us are going to come and have things to say about it and like still being willing to like help those people out there that are struggling with these kinds of things, and even people who are having like infidelity in their marriage and need somebody to model like how do you come back from that if you want to and stuff like that. I think all of that's important.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was honestly the best part of the reunion about the wives.
Yeah, 100%.
I do think Jess and her husband are probably on the rocks, if not separated. So we shall see. But that is a wrap up. We had some people ask us because we had posted about Mormon wives and they're like, we don't watch that show. What's it about? So we have given spoilers and did not even put a spoiler alert at the beginning. But this will catch you up if you want to watch season 3 or if you want to go back and binge it from season 1. I do feel it's very bingeable.
Oh, it's totally bingeable. And I think people should watch it because it's unlike a lot of the other shows because of the culture being so different. So
and
I
they
think that
talk
makes it
about that a lot. Yeah. And one thing I do appreciate about Mormon wives is that they break the fourth wall a lot. They are, when they're talking about Mom Talk, they mean the TV show. And they're constantly talking about like, no, we have to film these together because then we get more engagement and then we get better brand deals. And they talk about the amount of money they get from them. They talk about a lot of it. And I think it's important and interesting in a world where so many people want to be content creators to watch it and like see what's working for them.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyway, we will be back in your ears on Wednesday.
Well, and also, we're just going to put this out there and just be watching our socials because we are trying to put together a Love Island finale watch party on Sunday the 13th, I guess it'll be, at the Jeffrey here in New York City. We're going to put it on Eventbrite. We're going to hope some people show up. We're finalizing some details, so it's not 100% a sure thing yet. But we want you to be watching our socials so that if we do have it, that you can sign up, you can come hang out with us, watch the show. We're going to play some mixer games and stuff like that. So definitely be watching our socials this week, and you'll see it coming up.
And we can confirm when we do our recap of Love Island on Wednesday.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.